What's up YouTube? Jeff back again from DopeTechDaily.com. Today I'm bringing you guys a comparison between Android P and iOS 12. Now both of these guys are in beta version. iOS 12 just dropped today after Apple's WWDC 2018 Developer Conference. The Android P beta was of course released at Google's Developer Conference, Google I/O 2018 last month. So I want to talk about some of the similarities, some of the differences between the two. So let's talk about some of those things that they have in common. The very first thing that these two have in common is the Photos app. Now Google Photos for a while has been doing this very cool thing where you get Google Assistant on the tab down here and it gives you stylized type photos, ways that make your photos look more creative, and also things like collages. It also offers you a flashback to like a year before so you can see what was going on 4 years ago, etc. Seeing all these different things. Of course you got albums, photos, and of course one of the coolest things is you've got search. So if I search for sneakers, it'll show me all the pictures I've taken of my sneakers over time, which is really cool if I want to recall those photos. So in iOS 12, what Apple did is they added a lot of these really cool features into the iOS Photos app. You now have at the very bottom a For You tab that shows you some memories for previous years, celebration, big day. You can see though they're all right now the same exact event. And also, it doesn't appear to be quite as robust as Google Photos because I have a lot of the same photos in here. So it still doesn't seem to be quite as robust. You also have a search feature now where you can do the same thing. You can search for something like sneakers and then see if there are any results. And again, you can see it doesn't find any results here. In fact, I think if I searched for shoes, it did a little better job. Earlier I was playing around with it. You can see I actually do have photos of sneakers in here, but it just didn't find it under sneakers. It found it under shoes instead. So Apple is trying to catch up with Google in the photos realm where they both have this sort of advanced search and also giving you some ideas of memories and things you might like to look at from previous years. But I think Google is still quite a bit ahead in this case. Another place where Android has been ahead for a while is notifications, and Apple is trying to catch up in iOS 12 with notifications. If you look at your notification screen now, you'll notice a little more organized. You can see here under the news heading that I have right there, you can see I've got 3 more notifications. I can tap to expand my notifications, which is really nice. Same thing for YouTube, which is great for me as a YouTuber. I have 63 notifications. YouTube Studio, I have 10 more notifications, etc. So all of these kind of work the same way. You tap to expand. Now personally, I kind of like the way the notifications work a little better on Android myself. I also like the fact that you can sort of swipe them away instead of having to swipe here to open or press the X there to clear your notifications. I still like Android's notification system better, but the fact that iOS decided to go with bundled notifications is certainly a huge improvement. The next thing that Apple is trying to do to catch up to Google is improve Siri functionality. Now, of course, we all know that Google Assistant has been very robust for a long time, and it can find pretty much anything you want. It also integrates with a lot of other third-party apps, and Google sort of just bakes that right in so that it works. If you ask for something that Google Assistant can find in another app, it'll just do it. So Apple is trying to do the same thing with Siri by giving it shortcut functionality. And the way this works inside of the iOS 12 beta is if you scroll down to where you see Siri and search, you'll notice there are a lot of options to add shortcuts inside Siri and search. This is their takeover of workflow sort of coming to fruition here. You can see I already added one shortcut and they offer me to add some other ones like View Photos, View for You, etc. You can see under my shortcuts I added View for You. Basically, if I say View for You in Siri, it'll open up that page in Photos. View for You. And you can see it opens up the photo app and shows me the various memories and other photos that it has baked in for me. So obviously Apple wants to catch up to Google when it comes to Smart Assistant being able to link commands. I still don't think this is quite as good as what Google has, since it just automatically bakes in its functionality with other apps. You don't have to go in and actually program these shortcuts. It just works when you ask for something. Sometimes you'll ask Google Assistant for something and just be surprised with the work that it can give you. but Siri is certainly moving in the correct direction with shortcuts on iOS 12. The next common thread between iOS 12 and Android P was the announcement of tools to allow you to curb your smartphone use or at least manage them. Now, Google talked about their digital well-being application that'll let you view sort of the amount of time you spend on your smartphone. It'll also enable additional controls that allow you to grayscale out your screen at a certain time at night so that you don't have a colored screen. You also don't get any more notifications. You can flip to mute your phone so that you don't get notifications, do not disturb mode. Unfortunately, that is not available in the first Android P beta, but it should be coming later this week in the beta 3 that we're going to see released sometime in the middle of June, and of course I'll have a review of that. The good news is Apple is also enacting a digital well-being type initiative. Theirs is a little bit different. It's called Screen Time, and they actually did include it in their very first beta. You can see here under Screen Time in the settings, you can see the amount of time that you use your phone. You can see it populates over time as you use it. You can schedule downtime right here by checking the option, choosing the times that you want to have downtime. There you can see my usage is populating right there, social networking, Safari, productivity. You can choose app limits also inside here right below downtime. If you want to say limit your time in games, you can choose games and add a limit. You can say maybe 1 hour, and then you can go ahead and customize that to your liking. So it's a really nice tool. I don't know that adults are going to use this in the way that they sort of think, but it's certainly a nice tool, and also additional parental controls are allowing you to also control your kids' screen time, and I think that's a place where this will definitely be incredibly, incredibly valuable. The next thing is AR and ARKit. So Apple talked a lot today about iOS 12 and ARKit. Google talked about AR Core quite a bit at Google I/O and shared AR experiences. Once again, Apple is a little bit further ahead here in the implementation. They've added some pretty nice apps to iOS 12. One of those is the Measure app right here, which allows you to actually measure sort of objects in real time. You don't have to move around your iPhone to get some sense of the space in which it's in, and then basically you can touch to add a point and measure objects. So you add a point in space, and then you can measure an object from real life and then sort of insert that measurement into some app or into a messaging app, etc. So that's kind of a really nice application. They are also working on sharing AR experiences and also being able to play AR type games, like they should demonstrate a Lego game today at WWDC 2018, and that's really cool. I think Google is making progress here, but they're still a little further behind in the implementation for developers and the ease of implementation. We certainly haven't seen as many things with AR Core being directly implemented into Android P in that respect. Just to summarize a few of the things that Apple talked about today that are relevant to both, Apple is going to allow Waze and Google Maps integration, there's Waze right there, into CarPlay soon. Of course, Android has had Google Maps integration into Android Auto from the beginning because, of course, that's Google's default platform. You can also use Waze on Android Auto, and you've been able to for a while, but having more options for CarPlay, certainly great because Apple Maps isn't really the best overall. Also, in FaceTime, you're now going to be able to FaceTime up to a total of 32 individuals. Of course, as we know, Hangouts has had the ability to have group calls since the very beginning. Duo, of course, Google's other main messaging app, is mainly reserved for calls where you only want to have a one-on-one conversation with another person, but Hangouts has been able to handle that for a long time. And of course, the final feature, which is sort of special to the iPhone X, but I do want to mention it because they spent a long time talking about it, that is the new Memoji feature. So inside of messages, you can now create an emoji that looks exactly like you. And you can see right there, I created one that looks exactly like me right there. You can record your expressions, etc. One of the cool new features that they touted in this particular version with the Memoji is it now has tongue detection, which for me is not really something I care that much about. It's a little strange. Obviously, on the Android side, Google isn't really doing anything like this. Samsung is doing the AR emoji on the Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus, so there is some of this going on in Android, just not at the main operating system level. Alright guys, so that's a comparison between Android P and iOS 12 beta. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification icon so you can get future videos like this. Find me at dopetechdaily.com, Google+, Instagram, and Twitter at the links in the description. Also find me writing at gadgethacks.com where I write about Android. I appreciate you guys checking it out, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.